No,
mean,
when you hardwire in, that's where you see the speed, but you're going to lose a lot through Wi-Fi. And I don't think most
yeah,
people really think about that till they're like, hey, how come I'm not getting better speed?
yeah, yeah.
But
Well, yeah, I had still spools of old Cat 6 wiring in my basement from when I wired my son's grade school. And that was a long time ago, but hey, Wi-Fi is good, but when we did it 20 years ago, it was, Wi-Fi was more of an art than a science back then. We had all kinds of problems. And that's why we ran network all over the place. And just a year or two ago, they completely redid the grade school and they ripped everything out and put all wireless in there. So they tore out the computer lab too because they don't need it anymore.
nobody uses it.
Nobody
Yeah.
uses
Charlie, Charlie, is that one that I came and visited years ago?
Yeah, I think you're right. It might be it.
Had all the IMAX in it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I remember that day.
I mean, it was a solid installation and everything worked. And it worked for 20 years. And I was like, hey, good. I just hope that the stuff they put in, they didn't ask me for any help when they did the new stuff. I said, I just hope it lasts as long as our stuff did. So
20 years is a pretty good run.
oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, everybody, let's start with. Does anybody have a question for the group or for any of the experts here?
What?
Yes, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
On iPhone with iPhone 6, iOS 16, when I set the wallpaper, it seems like that the locks, I choose a photo, the home screen wallpaper is coming up zoomed in and not showing the entire photo I choose, whereas the lock screen is not zoomed in, and I'm wondering why that would be.
I don't have a clue.
I think it just reads them differently, the home screen versus the lock screen, but I don't remember now. In fact, it's hard for me to, sounds dumb, but now that I've been so immersed in iOS 17, it's hard for me to go back and think how iOS 16 worked.
Well, I mean, I chose a vertical picture, and I noticed it's just cutting off on all four sides. I could zoomed in, and that might be true of iOS 17 as well. I don't know because I haven't updated iOS 17.
Well, hold on. I'll look at my phone and see. Well, I'm using one of their specialty ones, so I'm not having that issue. But it just could be that the way that it sets in your home screen is just meant to be different than your lock screen. I
You
don't
might
know.
try
I don't remember having
selecting something from your camera roll where you turned the camera, where you took a vertical picture.
You just might experiment with different pictures, different resolutions, and see if it makes a difference. But I don't ever remember having that issue, but I can't really answer more to that.
Lyman, you had a question before we started tonight.
Yes, I have a question. Background, I have a 12-year-old iMac which has died. The screen has gone black, and Apple told me that in technical terms, they said, and this is true, the technician said, I think your machine is kaput. So that tells me that we needed a new Mac Mini and a new monitor, which we have, and we're suddenly faced with a different scenario than usual. In the last 13 Macintoshes I've owned, I have always used Migration Assistant from the old machine to the new machine without any problems. What I don't know is whether or not I would have the same success backing up from and I have 4 external disks. One is a startup disk. A 5th is iCloud. If I would have problems backing up from those, it would be different than just backing up from old machine to new machine with migration assistant.
I
That
would
clear?
I would say if you're using iCloud, it might take a little longer. I mean, the old days when I would physically hook the cables up and do it that way, it certainly was quicker. But I mean, do you regularly back up to iCloud?
Yes, every 15 minutes.
I would do it just from iCloud. I mean, that's pretty much what I have done, my last couple computers now.
Okay. And then for the others, where I back up photos and music to separate disks, I can just take those and drop them in later, right?
Wait, say that again?
Well, I have a number of backup disks. One is for music, one is for photos, and these are in addition to everything that's on iCloud.
Sure. Yeah, I
So
mean, you can bring
I
those
can
in
just take one of those, plug it in, and drop it into photos or pictures or music or whatever file it used to be in.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
folder.
Yeah. I mean, some of that stuff might be backed up to iCloud depending on where you had it on your computer, but yeah, you could do that. I mean, I
Okay.
back up to iCloud, but I also have an external drive that I back my computer up once a week as well. Just paranoia, I guess.
Yeah, I do too. But I'm not, if I use that one, I would obviously wind up with duplicates of everything on my new hard drive, right?
If you
I
did,
have to,
I mean, I would just do it from iCloud, and then whatever you didn't have an iCloud that you've got on other external disks, you can just bring that stuff in and use that as well to add to it.
just use it manually and not use Migration Assistant for all the subsequent disks.
Yeah, just do a backup from iCloud, and then, like I said, you have this other stuff. If that's not put on there by iCloud, then bring it over from your backups and then just add that stuff in manually. That's what I would do.
Hey, Lyman, are you gonna
I'm
have,
paranoid, so I've got so many disks. Yes, I'm
are you
sorry.
gonna keep those other discs separate also? Are you
Am
gonna
I,
keep multiple copies of those, or are you gonna merge those in with your new hard drive, new machine?
well, I will merge them in, but I will keep them as separate disks in case, something happens. I have a disk of everything.
Lyman, why not just keep them that way?
Well, it's also on the computer. Those are all backups.
Well, if they're on the computer, shouldn't they be in the iCloud?
iCloud doesn't back up everything on your computer.
Yeah,
There's-
I
Your
I
computer-
discovered that when I was doing some preliminary reading on this, but iCloud is occasionally a little selective on certain things. And so some preferences and things like that. It's not.
Everybody's looking at this message that just
Yeah.
popped.
A very long message, so I got it.
Yeah,
iCloud doesn't always back up everything in a pure form.
it has by default, it has certain folders on your computer that it backs up, like back stuff up from your desktop, from your documents, but like it doesn't back up other folders like
Your download folder sometimes.
pictures folder, things like that.
The one big one is going to be applications folder.
It
A
gets
lot
to-
of those may be missing.
No, you should get those back.
Yeah, it backs up your applications folder.
Oh, thank gosh.
Now, what you're going to have to do that is a pain in the butt is you're going to have to go through and you're going to probably have to you're going to have to like re-log into those applications and stuff a lot of times. Depends on the company.
Yeah.
I always hate having to go through that. Like, I just got the new iPhone 15 Pro Max and I had to, all the little applications. I think I spent 2 hours just signing into all these different things and online accounts and putting my cards back into Apple Pay.
Well, the good side, the upside of that is that requires you to update all your apps. You can't
Awesome.
go with something that's a year or 2 years old that you've been using now. So, gentlemen, thank you. I appreciate your patience and your advice.
Sure, that's what we're here for.
Any other questions out there?
Yes, I have another question for the group. I had been using TeamViewer to do screen sharing, like with relatives or whatever. And it used to be really simple. You start the app and it gives me a machine ID and a password, and I give that to the other person. And then they run the same software, TeamViewer, and they connect to my computer, entering those credentials, and they see my screen. Now they started asking for me to sign up for their online account, and I think they're just getting a little bit squirrely in the way they're acting and wanting to collect information. Are there other screen sharing solutions where I can just jump on and go and not create some kind of account with the service provider ahead of
Gary,
time?
is the people you're sharing with, are they Mac users or are they in the Apple environment?
Usually, but I
Okay.
would like to know the answer for both the Mac scenario and for sharing with to Windows.
Are you doing something like this where you're all joining, or are you just sharing somebody's screen?
I'm on the phone and I want to let them see my screen so that I can show them how to do something, and then they connect to me and they can watch whatever I do on my computer.
And what I recommend is simply use messages. It's you have the app right there, and it's pretty simple.
Yes.
I've done that with multiple people here. I do it with my father. I've done it with Alan. And as you know, it works pretty well, although I've learned the lesson not to have my VPN on or it won't connect. But you literally can just share. You can either share somebody else's screen or invite them to share your screen. And like, in fact, if you're sitting here at your computer, just pull up messages right now so you can see what I'm talking about.
Some of my family members are using older versions of Mac OS that don't have messages yet.
Okay. Do they have iPhones that are more current that they could use?
They do.
Because that would be a way around that, especially if you're having them look at your screen, then they could just, use their iPhone and do messages through their iPhone. If you want to play with it though, just it's real simple. When you go into messages, just pull up like the person, who you want, and you'll see the little, there's a little info symbol, a circle with an eye in it. And when you click on that, it'll say share. And when you click share, then you are given the choice to either ask to invite my screen or ask if I can, use their screen, and you choose it, and then it'll kind of ring on their end for them to answer.
Okay, so is messages the only idea you have?
Well, there's certainly other programs. I mean, there's always, well, first of all, I mean, you can do FaceTime, but you can't, I'm trying to think how you can share your screen.
Like, let's say I'm dealing with somebody on Windows.
Well, see, I would
Take
have
a
said,
bath.
What?
I said, take a bath. They're dealing with Windows people. Silly joke, Terry. Sorry.
see, the last stuff I used was TeamViewer, and I mean, we're talking a few years ago, but that's what I used in the past. So I don't know if anybody else can speak to a different program, but I haven't used anything but those two in recent years.
Microsoft Teams is free. You might want to give that a go.
Yeah.
You can use that on the Mac or on the iPhone or on, I'm thinking, Android, and I know for a fact that of course it'll run on Windows because it's a Microsoft program.
Microsoft Teams, you say, is free, unlike the rest of Office?
Correct.
I have a program called Screen Mirror to TV or Device. It's a Mac app, and it works extremely well. I think I might have paid something for it, but if it was very, very little. I think it was free actually.
Oh, also like sharing to somebody remotely. It's not in the same house with me.
No, what happens is you click it, and then you have a window that comes up that says share screen. And it also has a URL you can send to them, and they can click on that URL and share your screen.
What's the name of it again?
How
You want to put it in the meeting chat?
do I do that?
At
It
the
is-
bottom of your Zoom window, when you hover over it, icons will come up. Click on the one that says chat, and a panel will open up on the side there, and then you can type a message in there.
Oh, chat.
Yeah,
Okay.
Goes to everyone.
You could send it to just one person if you wanted to, but
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just checked and the chat window was only everyone. I was
No,
gonna say hello
No,
to
you
Frank,
can-
but
you can change that.
you
Click
can
where-
change the everyone to just
and
one
you'll see all
person.
the names come up of all the people here. So
oh,
you,
well, I've already blown it. Hello, Frank.
Okay. I sent it.
all right, we see it.
Screen mirror to TV device, yeah.
Is that an app from the
Meeting
App
device.
Store?
I'm sure it was. I never get anything generally just off the internet, but I suppose it could have come from there. I've had it for a while, so I've kind of forgot where it came from.
And Terry, you could
It's
look
really,
for,
really
I'm sure they
well.
have on the App Store. I'm sure there are other apps that you could check out as well.
But this one, you just click your button and they click their URL that you sent to them or they know about, and it just happens. It's just that easy. And then anything you do, they can see. And then when you're done, you just click stop sharing. And that's it. Real simple.
Oh, thank
Okay,
you.
any last question out there? No, okay, then let's us move on. We've got tonight's meeting, of course. I just introduced, we have John Connor. I moved around a little bit. So, there's John. Okay, he's our president. Steve Maynard's our first VP. Glenn House is the second VP. Alan Thorpe, he's there. There he is. He's our treasurer, and I'm the secretary, and I do the website. Let's see. Upcoming meetings, the officers talked about in November, possibility of talking about iPad OS, Watch OS, and TV OS, and all the changes or the new things that might be out in those new pieces of software. We have the membership rewards program continues. I'm writing down everybody's attendance here tonight, and that goes into a drawing for the December meeting for $400 Apple gift cards. Actually, they're emails that Alan arranges. Let's see what else.
Ron, if I
That's it. Yeah, Glenn.
jump in. Probably, I'm going to be doing some stuff on iOS 17 tonight, but based on what we have, I kind of think it will run into next month. So that'll probably be also in November.
Okay.
And Ron, would this be a good time for me to talk to them about that other user group?
Yeah. Well, there's two things. Well, yeah, Glenn, talk about that first, and then you can just a quick show of your new phone.
Okay,
Okay.
sure. Okay, so there is another Mac user group down in Austin, Texas, called Cap Mac. And I've been having conversation with their president for over the last year and a half or so. And so, you know, he and I kind of, their club is similar to ours in that, they're getting older. Their membership has shrunk over the years. Now they're bigger than us. I think, they still might get like, 25 or 30 people to meetings. So they're a little bigger than we are. And, we've just sort of been sharing ideas to try and, grow the user group as we've talked about. And so we had the idea, and I talked to our officers, and their president talked to their officers, and we're thinking about maybe after the new year, trying to do a joint meeting with both groups together at one time. And they tend to get a lot of guest speakers. And I think they've got connections kind of down there in Austin in the Apple community, some of their officers. So but we thought it might be something worth giving a try to. And, I know that in other parts of the country, you have seen like literally almost mergers of Mac user groups. I mean, we're not necessarily talking about that, at least at this point, but like the Mac user group down in Southwest Florida, that's down in Naples, they literally have hundreds of members now because there's a whole bunch of user groups that just said, well, we're going to fold into you. And they even have international members as well. They do all their meetings during the daytime because they have members in England. And so I think that's how some of these groups are kind of staying viable by, doing things together. So anyway, we're kind of looking at that and maybe talking about doing something with that, probably in the new year, early in the new year. If anybody has any thoughts on that, feel free to, chime in.
Yeah, ultimately stay tuned because we haven't worked out the details yet, but possibly for January, February, who knows exactly.
And they, by the way, it just so happens they do their monthly meeting at the exact same time we do ours. So they're doing theirs right now as well. So that makes it very easy for us. And they actually do a hybrid meeting. They have some people that meet in person at a restaurant, and then the others are on Zoom. So, anyway, it, something different at least, and we'll see kind of what happens with that. We'll let you guys know more as we kind of continue to play with that and see what's coming with that. And I know they also do once a month, they do like they call it Coffee with Cap Mac, and they've got it's like a Thursday, like around 11 a.m. and they have just an hour chat for people who want to get on and just chat. And I know the president was saying, hey, you ought to join us next month. So I might get on there just to kind of maybe meet some of their people and stuff, see what goes on with that. So that's that. The other thing Ron asked me to, as I mentioned before, I have a nice, shiny, brand new iPhone 15 Pro Max that I got, I don't know, it's been about 10 days ago. And
has anybody else gotten a new phone? No,
Next
Dan,
Monday,
you're the
next
only one.
Tuesday. Next
on.
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday,
Next
Doug?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Sorry, we're not worried about the future just yet.
Sorry,
Doug, which one are you getting, Doug?
iPhone Pro Max. I forget everything, but it's got a gigabyte of memory. It
Cool.
was the one with everything maxed out.
I did not go with that much memory in it. I kind of looked at, I moved from an iPhone 11 Pro Max to the 15 Pro Max. So, anytime you skip 4 years with your phone, you're going to notice a difference. So for sure, I've noticed a nice, differences in terms of performance. And, now I've got a 5G phone, and it's especially been nice where I'm in places that have the 5G ultra wide, band. And I haven't really tested the speed when I've been sitting under one of those things, but just beautiful display and everything. I actually walked around for 10 days without putting a case on it. And really, it's the first time I've tried that because I was waiting on a case to be delivered. And I got to really like having that phone, just the smallness of the phone. But alas, I put a case on there, and just because I'm thinking, I don't want to take the chance. I'd rather protect my investment. So, especially because I've got this little thing on my hand because of a bad thumb right now, and I always put the phone in that pocket. So I'm like trying to make sure I was picking it up out of my pocket without dropping that thing. But by the way, funny story about the case. So you're ready already, Doug.
Doug already has his case.
He sent me the case just so I could be excited, I guess.
You could pretend you have it there, Doug. Just
monkey see, monkey do. I got my
there you
case.
go, John.
I don't have the phone yet, but I picked up a case.
What case do you guys have there?
Yes, Doug, go ahead.
What? Oh, I ordered the case and the phone at the same time, and the case came in about 3 days. And then my phone I've been waiting for it for most of a month now.
What was the case you ordered?
I forget the name of it. Let's see. Well, it's on here on the box. It's
Oh, the silicone case from Apple. Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
John, what about you?
Well, I have a silicone case on my iPhone 13 Pro, which is very good in that I can grip it on the sides quite well, but it is a little bit too grippy, if you will, it's hard to get it in and out of my pants pocket or shirt pocket sometimes. The silicone kind of catches. So this one that I got is textured on the side. This one is just a kind of an off-brand that I picked up at Micro Center in Brentwood. It's called Crystal Matter X, and it's clear plastic. So the back of it is slippery, okay, but the sides have got some texture. They're grippy a little bit. So what I'm hoping for the best of both worlds. So when I go to pick the thing up, I'll be able to, by the sides, I'll be able to grasp it and hold on, whereas it will slip easily in and out of my pockets. And I was telling the guy at the store, I said, it's textured plastic. He said he's got one, and he said it works very well. But the sides, I'm not sure how well people might be able to see this. You can see it's just clear and it's plastic, and this is very slippery, and it's MagSafe. But the sides of it are textured. And I told the guy at the store, I said, I might even take that texture and rough it up with some sandpaper in case I find that I don't get a good enough grip as is. So I just need to have something that I can grip it solidly on the sides when I go to pick up the phone, but something which, because this surface is slippery, it will go in and out of my pockets easier than the silicone case will. So we'll see.
I've got a Bobcat and a yard tractor, and my phone is always, with the case that I have now, is always falling out of my pocket. And I don't think the phone would win if the Bobcat went over it.
I think you're right. No, that's
a good guess.
Yeah, that's exactly the right kind of case, Doug, for what you want.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
John,
Yes.
the case, is it kind of rubbery, or is it?
No, mine is pretty solid.
It's a little oily feeling, but it's not slippery, huh?
Is rubbery flexible?
Squeeze it.
I don't think it. It's flexible.
There you go. Yeah,
to that extent, it's rubbery, but it doesn't really feel like rubber. It feels a little bit oily or something. I don't know, but it's not real. I think it'll come out of the pocket easy enough.
Yeah, I figured if it's rubbery, it's going to give more cushion if you should drop the phone.
Yes.
This one has some flexing. I don't know how well people can see this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It flexes a little bit, not a whole lot. But again, and if that's the case, then that's good, because as Steve points out, that tends to give you a little bit more protection. Also, I don't know, it's really impossible to see. But along the rounded corners, there's a little bit of a bump out indicating that there's extra material there. So it ought to be able to provide a little bit better protection in case it falls.
Hey, John.
It's got a pretty high rating, so it's not an $80 OtterBox, but it should. I'm expecting it to do well.
What's the brand, John?
John, don't put it away. I want you to hold that up again.
I think this will provide some cushion a little bit.
No, I want you. Can you hold the case up, John, like outside of that? I'm having you do this for a reason. You'll understand in a second. Now.
Looks very much like that one.
It's not, mine is a Spigen, which is a, name maybe
yes,
heard of.
Yeah, that's a good brand.
But they look almost like identical, and I've got my phone in there, but like, the MagSafe and the way it looks and everything,
I don't see any, Glenn, on the sides of yours, I don't see that it's textured at all. Or is it, and just, you can't see it so well?
What I would say is this: it's clear, and I wanted that, but I feel like there's a little more grippy, slightly more grippiness on the side than there is on the back. And that might just be because the back has a bigger surface area versus the side. But it also has just a little bit. You can also, I don't know if yours has this, but on the corner,
Yes,
it's almost like a little bumper cushion
correct. I've
on
got
each
that too.
corner. Yeah.
I've got that too.
It's like I almost wonder if they had these made in the same plant or something, you know.
I don't know.
Now,
Um,
what was your name again on that one?
on mine,
Oh, John, I got yours speaking. I'm looking for a new case too.
Put them in the chat, John.
Okay. put 'em
Crystal
up there.
Matter X or 10.
But put it in the chat, please.
Okay.
yeah, it was just funny as you're like talking all about yours, John. I'm going, well, that's pretty much the same. That's why I was like, well, that's kind of funny, and they're different brands, but I'm sure that happens. I mean, now, funny story about my case. I've had a case before from a company called Totally, Totally.
Oh, yes.
And I wanted a minimalist case, and they're always rated as one of the best minimalist cases out there. And I had ordered theirs. And so they said, oh, it'll ship like first week of October. So I said, okay, that's why I was walking around for 10 days without a case. And it got to be the end of last week, and I shot an email to their tech support saying, hey, I haven't seen any notification this thing shipped out. And they emailed me. I said, oh yeah, it's supposed to ship by the 30th. I'm like, well, you guys said, and I've got this new phone, and you said it was going to ship. And so the funny thing is I got on Amazon, and I could order their case and get it the next day from Amazon, but I couldn't get it from them. Now I ended up going with the Spigen instead of the Totally one, and I got my money back for that. But it's kind of funny when you're telling me directly from the company I can't get it for weeks, and then here I am right on Amazon, and I can have. Actually, I ordered this case and I had it within 3 hours at my house. I'm trying to figure out how I ever lived without Amazon,
Mhm.
But so anyway, so yeah, I did not go with as much memory as Doug. I just simply looked at my old phone and my 11, and I was like, well, how much how much space am I using here? And it's like I had a 256 gig there, and I only was filling about 100 gigs. So I thought, because every time you add space, it's like phone goes up by a couple $100. I was thinking about the 512, but I'm like, now I'm adding another couple $100 to it. So I just went with the 256, and I'm using about 150 gigs here. So, and I figure if it's ever a real problem, I'll just sell this and get a new one. So, and I did a deal through my carrier Verizon, and they gave me $850 toward my iPhone 11 Pro Max in the deal. So that was better than I would get in a trade-in anywhere else. So anyway, yeah, really happy with it so far. By the way, I'm not going to take it out of the case, and I know it's real hard to see with the reflection, but I went with the blue titanium.
That's what I did too.
Okay.
Blue titanium.
Yeah.
Sounded good.
I didn't want to do I've had so many phones that were the dark, black or gray or silver. My 11 actually was at that time it was a green color, and I thought the blue looked nice, and that's kind of why I wanted a clear case. So you can kind of somewhat see that color.
Yeah,
Glenn,
this is
what
going to
would be-
cover up the blue and the blue titanium.
Yeah,
The
Yes, it
case
will.
is actually blue though, a little bit
looks a little bluish. Yeah.
dark.
Glenn, what were the terms of your getting the phone through Verizon?
They gave me $850 toward my phone and trade-in, and I had to agree to a 3-year commitment with them. And in the past, I've just paid cash for my phones to avoid that. But my wife did the same thing with a new one sometime last year, I forget. And she did a commitment with them for 2 years, and it's like, we're not probably going to be changing carriers. And if we decide we want to change carriers, I'll just buy out what I owe them on the phone. So
You can pay full price for the thing though at the time you buy it, right?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you don't have a phone to trade in, sure.
Okay. No, what I was going to do, well, what I was originally going to do was go to the Apple store and trade in my 13 Pro for a 15 Pro Max, but they're
Yeah.
only offering $480.
Yeah.
Now, if Verizon's offering 850 for the same phone, and if you don't have to, I mean, I've had them for a long time, and I probably won't switch because they're, of all the carriers around here, they're the ones that have given me the best coverage. So in all the likely, it's unlikely that I would switch providers just for that reason alone. But I like the idea of just paying for the phone at one time. I don't like the idea of having to make payments on the phone.
You can do that. I didn't make payments either. I just simply paid for the, I think my phone was like, well, it was $1,200 plus tax, and I just, paid the rest with a credit card at that time. I like you, I did not want payments on the phone, so I just paid it off at once. So you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just bought an unlocked phone. I've been with AT&T. I haven't had a contract in so many years, I don't remember.
Yeah,
I just
first time
bought
I did this in a while, Doug. I was just buying the phone, and but like John, I don't think, I mean, we don't get good cell coverage from any service in our neighborhood because we live in a little bit of a valley, but I figure, well, I'll probably be with them in the near future anyway. And again, if I'm not, I can just, buy my way out of the contract if I really need out of it. So
All of
Okay,
the
guys, I think we need to move on.
Yeah.
Talked about that phone till I can't stand anymore. Anyway, I want to ask, talking about Mac OS Sonoma, how many of you upgraded your Macs to Sonoma? Okay, quite a few. So some of the things I'm going to show you or to talk about briefly, you may have already noticed yourself or wondered what's going on, because there are some weird things that'll seem to happen out of the ordinary when you first start. So let me see, I got to share my screen. Okay, close that down. And one thing you notice right away probably is when you first upgrade and you have to log in, there's a new kind of screensaver wallpaper, and hopefully you notice that there's a couple ways to change it but for example, can you see that little thing that pops up when I hold down the control button and it says change wallpaper? And notice it's come up with the system settings, and there's two things, screensaver and wallpaper, and they're sort of the same thing, at least the ultimate result will be. And you have all sorts of choices of which ones, like Mac OS colors, landscape, cityscapes, blah, 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 okay? Lots of different ones. And under wallpaper, similar things. And I picked on mine the aerials and then shuffle. Notice there's choices on how often it does it, every day, every 2, every week, every month, or continuously. Well, I picked every 12 hours, but continuously, I'm not sure how often that'll change. So has anybody tried that?
yeah, I've got that. I've got it changing on mine, but I don't know.
Is
Hold
it
on,
set for continuously?
let me look it up here while you're talking, and I will.
Because I just wondered how often that would make it change. I don't actually know.
Yeah, I have continuously, and it rotates through 135 aerials.
How often does it seem to change?
The problem is I don't know, because I usually have something in front of it.
Oh,
Like the only time I see it generally is when I log in.
okay.
And so therefore I really can't answer that. And I never just have it sitting there. Generally, I have my browser or other stuff on top of it.
No, I get it. Hey, probably noticed I just clicked on the desktop, and I don't know if you've noticed, but all the windows just disappear, right? They go off the screen.
Right.
And if you click back, they come back. Now, some people find that real annoying, because the first time it happened, I wonder, what the hell did I just do? Where did they all go? And
I
then
turned that
finally
right
read a
away.
little bit about it and find out what was going on. It's actually possible, if you find that really annoying, to turn that off. And I'll show you how in a second. But you might find it's useful because maybe you want to see some of the widgets on the desktop. So it all depends on whether you like that feature or not.
Yeah, I
Now-
turned that one off right away. It annoyed me, like, because what I didn't like about it was sometimes if I want to click on one thing and drag something over, when I clicked over there, that flew off the screen, and I just found it a lot harder to manage. So I turned that off. I didn't like it.
Well, here's what you do if you want to disable that. You go to system settings, which is, let's see what we're in right now. Desktop and dock. Let's see if I can find where that is. There it is. I got to get close enough so I can read my screen here.
Uh-huh.
Desktop and dock, drop down. Oh, now I've not seen where it is. Okay.
I can't.
You see where it says click wallpaper to reveal desktop? You can have it always do that, or only in Stage Manager. If you change that, that'll actually turn that little feature off. So it's a way to stop it from putting all the windows out to the pasture. Okay. The next thing I liked was, notice these little widgets out here on the side. And again, by holding on the control and clicking on the screen, I get edit widgets. And this is something that we've had in our phones for a while now. And whether you've used them, I don't know. You can actually copy one from your phone to the Mac desktop if you want. But notice there's all sorts of choices. You want something about the battery life, your calendar, your clocks, and there's all different styles and so on and so forth. News, your contacts, and notice all the different little things there on the side that you can bring up.
Wow.
I started from there and just dragged, for example, I like, oh, the weather one, I'd like that. So I dragged it out there on the desktop. That's the one that's up here in the corner. And yes.
Are we supposed to be seeing something other than your desktop right now?
We're seeing the bubbles.
You're seeing what?
I'm just seeing jellyfish on your desktop.
Jellyfish.
Okay. Then you're not seeing my desktop.
No.
Hold on.
I saw your cursor move. There you go.
Go.
There it is.
Now.
Now you're seeing that, but if I do this, the widgets, you don't see that come up.
They'll disappear.
Everything else just went away, but nothing came up.
I thought
Well, then I can't really demo this to you, but do you see the desktop now?
just
Your background, the jellyfish, the desktop.
You
but
see the widgets up in the corner here?
No,
You don't see these that I'm moving around?
oh,
nope. All we see is your cursor.
Well, this is a fine how you do. Because I can't show you how those work. Well, you'll have to try them yourselves. They're nice. You can put those out on your desktop wherever you want. You just can't show them to anybody else. Okay.
they're widgets, huh?
Well, here's another one. Let's try this. There's a couple of new features in photos.
Okay.
Do you see a picture out there?
Yeah.
That's my that's my niece. Actually, my niece's daughter, great niece, I guess. And notice it's got a pizza there. This was actually a funeral setting, but anyway. In photos, you can now do things about if you see a picture of food, you can click on it and say, look up the food. And did a little window pop up there? And you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it gives you all sorts of recipes for pizza.
God.
So Photos has become more intelligent, I suppose, in some ways.
Okay.
You can click on food like that, and it'll look up possible recipes for other types of food like that. So
That's like, it's like what your iPhones have been doing with animals and plants.
oh yeah, a lot of these are features that have been on the phones, but they've almost been totally merged now as far as what they'll do. Another one is people and pets. So you can name your pets. So if you have a picture of a pet, you can give names to that.
Dog, cat.
Then when you look up people, you can find all the pictures of your pets that way. Which I don't know if the phone did that before, but now photos on your Mac will do the same.
All right.
Another one is predictive text. Okay, do you see this? It says this little window here.
You make it bigger?
macOS Sonoma.
Can I make it bigger? Well, I can make the window bigger.
Okay, no, I didn't make the printing any bigger. Okay.
Well, I can make the printing bigger. Let's see.
About 1/4 the size of your whole screen.
That's not going to happen. Okay, how about this? Can you see that?
That's better. Uh-huh.
Okay. So what I want to show you is the predictive text, which has become, and it works in almost any of these Apple products. But if I say, while I type, it will try to, oops, not precisely. You notice it starts predicting what you're going to type. To use that word, if that's the right thing, you just hit the space bar. Whoops. Helps if I can actually type.
I
Notice
noticed
too. Again, it'll anticipate, and it says it does machine learning. So the more you use this, the better it will get at trying to predict what you're going to actually type. And it can save you a little bit because you can just hit the space bar and add in whatever you're doing. So I think that could be really useful. It depends on how much typing you do on your computer.
it's been doing that on the iPhone. I noticed it didn't correct your I's to a capital I. While I type.
Oh, it did. Did we leave a dot on it now?
Yeah.
I left the little I, you're right.
And when you say I'm, it also left the I over there. I noticed that it corrects those when I do it on the iPhone.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
It's still learning.
Maybe it depends on the teacher too. Maybe I'm not doing a good job teaching it. But anyway,
Well, you just have to learn that Ron is a capital fellow.
Press the cap locks.
another one is, let's see if I find the right app over here. Okay, in notes. Okay, I brought up this note because I had a picture in it. It's actually from a recipe, easy French toast. It's in the Notes app. Well,
Yeah.
now you can create a Pages document very easily right from your Notes app. So if I go to the File menu, it says Open in Pages. Takes it a moment. Oh, there it is. So you can create Pages documents out of anything in your Notes app, which might be useful if you're going to share with somebody or send it to somebody.
Yeah, a little
Use
cleaner.
a PDF or who knows what.
And the graphics are much better. Uh-huh.
Yeah, the picture came out fine and so on. So it depends if you have things in your notes that you want to share or use in a different way. It creates it in Pages automatically for you. You don't have to do copy and paste or any of that stuff.
That's new, yeah.
Yeah, that's a new thing. Let's see what else. Oops, do I want to save that? No.
If you invest in one of the very expensive big Power Macs, will it make the French toast for you?
It'd be interesting to see if I had that picture. I don't think it'll do predictive No, it won't on a picture that's in the notes app. Let's see, whoops, what else? I see what Glenn was saying, because if you accidentally click here, whoops, where'd everything go?
I found it so annoying. I was like, no, it looks fun, but yeah, it's too annoying. I'm getting rid of it.
It hasn't bothered me yet, but not saying that it won't in the future. What else here? Let's see. Oh, reactions. I don't know if this will work. Let's see.
In FaceTime.
Yeah. I don't know if I can show that or not. Oh, let me do this. This is useful. You're seeing the
recording.
settings app, right? And I'm under accessibility.
Yeah, seeing accessibility folder.
And let's see. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Sorry. Here it is. Live speech. If you turn this on, and I haven't tried it, but the videos I was watching explained how it worked. And it looked really interesting. So it's a live speech. You can type to speak aloud or directly into applications like FaceTime. Click in the menu bar to show or hide live speech. And if you use that, it says you can actually talk to it, but then you can go back to typing a few words and then continue talking. And it just switches from one to the other as you're doing it. Sounded pretty interesting. Notice too up here in the settings app, these little arrows that weren't there before. If I click there, it'll just go back to what I was on before. So it's a kind of an easy way to get back and forth from what you were going to and from. Another thing called personal voice, which it's intriguing to me to maybe try this, but it sounds like AI stuff, but you can create a personal voice. Now notice, I'll use a password, let's see. Okay, you can record yourself. It has 150 phrases allowed, which may take about 15 minutes. So it gives you a bunch of stuff you have to say. And then it will generate your personal voice. And then with live speech, you can actually have it read stuff in your voice to, I guess, other people, I don't know. I didn't have time to try it, but it sounds intriguing to me that you're.
You know, Ron, I keep meaning to set that up on both my phone and my computer.
Have you done it? No.
I just keep forgetting about it. And then when I think to do it, it's like, no, there's too much noise around me. I can't do it
Yeah,
now.
I don't have the time right now. Anyway, it might be something to give a try to. I will try this. So maybe next month, if it works, we can show you something from it.
It sounds like AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's not. It's actually coming, the computer actually doing it for you.
It's so that somebody can simulate your voice when you come to the next meeting. We won't know if it's you or not, Ron.
That's right. Maybe I wouldn't have to be here. I just put my picture up here in front and let the voice do it. And type it aloud and have it read the stuff. Notice you can share across devices. So if you create this on the computer, it'll work on your phone too. And it says allow applications to use your personal voice. Let's see. During calls, I don't know exactly what that would mean, but might be interesting to try. Let's see what else. Text size. Oh, I'm not seeing it. Oh, I'll quit that for the moment. The next thing is weather. You seen the weather app?
Yeah.
On the desktop? Okay. I don't know if these are new things, but I didn't know about them until I was doing some of this research. One thing you can do is click here, and now you're seeing the radar, right? If I click on this little icon, I can show wind instead. And it says it's really cool if there's a hurricane coming in or something. Oh, it didn't quite switch. Oh, it's working its little brain, I guess.
Processing.
Hurricane in St. Louis.
No, notice there's the coast, East Coast. If a hurricane's coming in, it'll show you the speed of those little arrows. Can you see them? Or they're kind of faint on that blue background, but it's showing you the wind speed direction there on the coast and here in the Gulf of Mexico. And of course you can, whoops.
That's why I like windy. Yeah.
There we go.
Not really showing, of course, there's almost no wind here. You can do the same thing with precip, temperatures. Air quality, and of course, wind. What I didn't know too is, for example, here, you can get all sorts of information. Again, if you're a weather geek, Glenn, you still here? Okay, anyway, there's all sorts of information here about, in this case, the wind, air quality. Let's see.
You know, I think that they've done a nice job, Apple, on both Sonoma and iOS 17 of really upgrading and continuing to improve the weather app.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. For example, here, the averages, it'll tell you what the average temperature would be for this time of year versus what we've had today, and then over the past few months, it shows you average temperatures and how they are. And if you read the information here, it'll tell you about what that means. Sunrise and sunsets, moon rises. It's just kind of amazing, all the information that's actually here if you know to just click on the screen.
Yeah, that's much better than it used to be.
Oh my God, it's just chock full of information. So I find that interesting. Let's see. Some of the stuff I wanted to show you, I can't, because obviously it only showed you those are the ugliest things on the screen, by the way.
You got to change to those new backgrounds. They're pretty nice.
Oops.
Oh,
I changed to my photos. That's Are you seeing my screen still?
Yep.
See the dolphins.
Are you seeing the
No,
We're seeing the
Dolphins going around?
screensavers that are on the Apple TV.
just seeing the
Yeah,
dolphins.
you're right. And it actually, there's a whole lot of them, but you usually have to download them. And there's all sorts of choices. And they're kind of intriguing just to sit and watch maybe for a little while. And yeah, sometimes I wonder, how did they film those things? But that's neither here nor there.
CGI, the CGI created, huh?
Yeah, really.
That would drive your cat crazy.
You're probably right. There was one that looked like barracudas or something, and there was a zillion of them on the screen.
I like that one. There's a few of them with School of Fish where you're right in the middle. I love those.
Let's see if I can find another one here.
So you're doing it for the Mac, what they did for the phones. That's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover.
There's fishy. Oh, yeah. My eyes are swimming.
Okay, now count how many fish are there. You could keep a little kid busy forever.
3,412.
It's like trying to count the stars. Keep going deeper.
It is kind of amazing though, isn't it? Again, like I said, how did they film that crap? I don't know.
Somebody there in the water.
Somebody had to be in the water, I would assume, or else they just
That's how
lowered
they-
a camera down and into a school of fish and hope for the best.
It's animation. It's a CGI.
I think
I don't think that is. It looks, there's too many of them.
Well, if you watch long enough, you'll see it repeat. It's on a loop.
Well, that's true. It's a loop. You're right.
but it still could be video. Yeah, it could be either way.
My understanding is that all of the backgrounds that are shown on the Apple TV, and I assume here, were photographed.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought so too, but
Yeah, they are.
Probably with an iPhone.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's about all the things I think I can show you. So I'm going to turn it over to Glenn. He will tell you about.
ISO 17.
Yeah. I'm going to do iOS 17. Like I said, this will probably bleed into next month. Before I get into it at the beginning of my presentation, though, there's a couple of hardware things that I'm going to cover with you guys because I think those are kind of relevant. So let me share my screen here with you guys.
By the way, you notice if you put a thumbs up, you get a little thumbs up will come up on your screen by your.
No.
Oh,
I'll just use my real one.
There's lots of other gestures you can use. I'm not sure which ones work.
Easy,
Tiny different
easy,
one.
Ron. I didn't know I
Oh,
didn't-
there, 2 thumbs. You can see the.
Yeah. I like this one. Oops.
All right, I'll wait. You guys let me know when you're all done playing, and then I'll
There we go. Woohoo.
move on.
The Jackie Gleason Show.
Yeah, I'm not getting any of these effects. Oh, there's the thumb finally. Maybe it's because my thumb is broken here and it doesn't like it. I don't know.
Oh, Frank loves this.
nope.
We call reactions.
So if I go like this, will it like,
I don't see
I
it.
really didn't like what you had to
Try
say.
a heart. I don't know. Will that work? Oh,
Yeah,
look.
Yeah.
Good.
Good
It
one.
did.
I can't really bend my thumb that way. So, all right. You guys want to keep playing or should I?
No,
Yeah.
that's okay. We'll let you go.
I just want to remind everybody, there was no winner for the $1.5 billion. So it's now going to be 1.7 billion on tomorrow night's lottery, just in case you guys decide to win.
I don't know if that's worth my
Everybody a new
time.
Mac.
Decide to play first.
Yeah.
You only need one ticket. You don't need to go out and buy 1,000.
I always get a kick out of the people who buy like 10 or 20, and I'm like, you realize you're not really increasing your odds.
No.
Unless there's multiple winners.
I am going to go ahead and share my presentation now.
All right.
All right, you guys seeing that?
Yes.
All right. I always got to move where you guys are here. Okay. So we're all excited about the goodies for the fall and for
Oh, that's what Charlie Brown's doing.
well, you'll notice my theme here for the month
He's going to kick the football.
as we
It's a great pumpkin.
great pumpkin Charlie Brown, so I was just, as I started this, I was thinking about this, as I mentioned before, this is the 5th iteration of the Pro Max phone. And so I don't know, I was thinking about this as I started my presentation, and I thought I would just kind of share, see, well, where have we come now in, these 5 years, these 5 iterations of this phone. So, you can see that size wise, the little minute differences in the actual physical size of the phone. Obviously the 15 is definitely lighter, but that's because the titanium. The display has obviously gotten better over time, and it's certainly a bigger display. It goes more toward the, very edges of the screen, much more than they did back in the 11. And you can see that there's obviously a little better resolution there going on with the 15 versus the 12 or 11, sorry. Definitely a big difference in brightness. And I've noticed that right away, jumping from the 11 to the 15, I can tell a huge difference. Plus the always on display makes a big difference. Definitely different materials they're using a little bit here. And those are the colors. So, I don't know if you guys remember, you could get gold, space gray, silver, and midnight green on the 11. I had the midnight green, which is that middle one. Then this picture here makes that seem a lot greener than it really was. The green was definitely a little more muted than it is there. And you can see the current colors. If you haven't seen them yet, those are the current 15 ones. And for the Pro and Pro Max. And again, I like Doug went with the blue one. Couple other things here. Obviously, the chip is increased and the memory has been increased. I don't even think you could make a phone run now on 64 gigabytes. I mean, I don't even know what the size of the system alone is. Plus, all the photographs we take tend to be much larger. The camera, obviously, we've had big increases in the camera there. Big jump in megapixels over these years. And of course, better zoom on the new phone, and the digital zoom, especially going up to 25 times. And I've noticed that just playing around with it already. Of course, back in the day, we were dealing with LTE cellular. Now we're on 5G. So another big difference there. Playback has gotten, we've expanded that. I don't know, I'd say it's by leaps and bounds, but certainly getting better, battery life there.
50%.
Oop, and that should be reversed, by the way. 11 was iOS 13. The 15 is iOS 17. So anyway, just a little bit difference there. All right. So, I've seen a lot of discussion, and people often wonder, you get these little icons on the top of your screen on your phone, these little cryptic things. And I thought I would just kind of real quick talk about what some of these things mean that you might be seeing on your phone at times. Okay. So the first one is, if you see a little small orange dot up there at the top on your screen, that means that there is an app that's accessing your microphone somehow. So if you see that dot, that means your microphone's in use. By the way, some of these icons, if you stop using that app, it doesn't necessarily just go away right then. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for that to go away. Also, if you see a green dot just like that, that means that the camera plus also the microphone as well is being used. So orange dot, just the microphone. If you get the green dot, now you've got the camera, but you could also have the microphone in use. If you see this little blue thing that has like a little link chain there, that just means your phone is being linked to another iOS device to use as a personal hotspot. You'll also see it if you're linking like your, computer to your phone or something like that, to let you know that you've got the hotspot going on here. Okay, here's a new one, because SharePlay actually is just going to be being released. It hasn't actually been released yet, but when this does get released, if you're using SharePlay on your phone and you see these little icons, the one has a little individual there. I've got the box around it with the Wi-Fi turned on. That means it's just telling you that, your SharePlay is turned on and other people can share it. If you see the little icon with the person with the rectangular box there, that means your phone is currently sharing the screen via SharePlay. So those two icons will tell you that SharePlay is in use. Okay, I've actually seen, have anybody seen the SOS one come up on their phone yet?
No.
No? Okay, I've had that come up a few times. It's basically telling you don't have a cell signal but you could make an emergency call using a different carrier's network. So I've seen that one pop up a few times depending on where I'm at. And then if you see the little satellite icon, you've got no cell or Wi-Fi, but you can use the emergency SOS satellite service that Apple offers if you see that little satellite there.
Glenn, is that only on the newer phones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, some of you might have seen this little guy, a little rectangle, round a rectangle with a little arrow in there. That just simply means that the iPhone is giving you directions. So if that pops up, you're probably doing turn-by-turn directions in the using maps or something, but you're not on that screen at the moment. So these are not the only two 5G symbols you might see on your phone. If you've got a 5G phone, there's actually 5 or 6 different ones, but from kind of doing a little research, these are the two most common. If you just see 5G, that is kind of the normal 5G mode. And sometimes you will get, I almost get a smile on my face. I'm out, I look down, I see the little UW there. It means I'm on the ultra wideband. And now I moved up to my carrier's faster 5G network than the regular one. You also might see pluses. I've seen an EC after it, different things. It depends on your carrier, what you're seeing there. And if by chance you see on a newer phone this, where all of a sudden you've got two carriers and a cell phone signal, what that's simply telling you is the upper one is the signal strength of the line you're using for your normal cell calls. The bottom one is the strength of your second line if you've got a dual SIM phone and you've got two different lines that you have operating there. So you would see it like that. So anyway, I didn't do all the basics, but just some different symbols. If you see these things, that's what you're seeing. I saw this great diagram on Cult of Mac and I thought, oh, I should share this. So if you've got an Apple Watch, they created this little diagram showing you how do you get to these things? What do these things do on your watch? And I just thought it was a cool diagram that I thought I would share with you guys, that I thought it might be useful as you're trying to get to learn the watch system. And really the only difference, by the way, with the Ultra on the right there is the action button. If you notice, you only have two things with the action button that are going on. Everything else is going to be the same there. So, I will share this PDF with Ron and everything, but kind of good to get to know this and all the different little operations you can do. Everybody a chance to see that? Can I move on?
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay. All right. So Apple made a big deal about the new watches that they have the pinch gesture, the pinch and the clench gestures. The guys familiar with that?
Not real.
Last month, yeah. But
you remember them presenting it?
Yeah.
That with the new phone, you can, pinch twice or you can clench twice and you can operate your
Is
watch.
that this one where you're tapping your fingers?
Yeah. I mean, you could do it this way or this
That's
way.
a double tap, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a feature of the new watches, and it allows you to control, your watch by doing things. But what a lot of people don't know is you can actually do that on other models of the Apple Watch as well, as long as you have a 3 or later. You can't do it on the original. So you can enable this. I've got it enabled on my watch now, and I use it. And I don't have mine is a Ultra 1, the first Ultra. So, and it works. And I'll show you guys how to enable this. So first thing on your phone, you could do it on your watch, but it's easier on the phone. You open your watch app on your iPhone and you're going to go down. Once you're in the app, you go down and you choose accessibility. And then when you're in accessibility, scroll down and you're going to tap on assistive touch. And that will take you into this little menu, and make sure that you have assistive touch toggled on. If it's not already toggled that on, if it is, you're good. Okay, then you're going to tap hand gestures and you're going to toggle the hand gestures on. And this is going to allow you to use those hand gestures. And then you will see the little menu below that. You can customize what your pinch, double pinch, clench, and double clench do. So right now that's a screenshot from my phone. I've got my pinch set to go forward, my double pinch to go backward, my clench to tap, and my double clench is like pressing the crown on my watch. And so you can see in here these hand gestures. This isn't all of them. Like you could scroll further down. There's other stuff you could choose, but you have a whole host of options of what you want these gestures to do.
Len, are these things you do on the screen of the watch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't
like
know what clench means.
Your clench like your fist, like this. Just do this. Make a fist.
It's like a tap with all your fingers.
Yeah, just clench your hand. Make a fist. There you go.
But it has to be the fist.
But how are you doing that on the watch screen?
I'm not doing it on the screen, but the watch is feeling in your wrist here.
Okay, these are not on the screen then, they're just with your hand.
They're with your hand. Yeah, but they control what's on the screen.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Like when I get, a lot of times when something's on the screen, it'll actually tell me, I'll get a little message up here, double pinch, it'll say that and I'll just do that and it's gone. The message that popped up. So I'll get those alerts. So like I said, Apple made a big deal about these being on the new watches. And I think they're a little more seamless on the new watches, but those are there in accessibility. So, I mean, if you've got an Apple Watch, you can set this up and use that stuff already. So I thought that was really worth me pointing out to people. And it's not perfect, by the way. I think this is still kind of a technology that Apple is really working with. By the way, the default gesture for activation of assistive touch is the double clench there. And you can change that to a double pinch if you feel like that's easier for you. All right. Quick little thing about the AirPods Pro 2, if you've got them. Any of you hear about adaptive audio in iOS 17?
I've heard it, but I don't know what it means.
Okay. Well, what this is so there's a new feature. It's called adaptive audio. So what they're trying to do is you have the transparency mode, which basically allows you to hear everything around you through the headphones. There's no noise canceling, or you have the active noise canceling that shuts everything out. And so what adaptive audio is, it's kind of a cross between the two, where you're hearing stuff, but it's not as much as when you're on transparency mode. It's a little muted down. Whereas when you're in active noise cancellation, you'll still hear things. It's not like it shuts everything out. I mean, it does a nice job, but if there's a loud sound or something, that will come through. And so the idea with adaptive audio is that, it's kind of closing some of the sound down, but it's not taking it away, so that you're still more aware of your environment. I will show you how to do this here. I personally did not like it. I keep mine on active noise cancellation. I find I hear enough, sounds when I need to hear them, or a siren or a loud, a car honk or something. I can hear that through noise cancellation. And I feel like when I put the adaptive audio on, I'm just inviting a lot of sound in that I don't really want. So there are two ways to activate and control your audio mode. The first thing is open settings, and you need to have your headphones out, obviously, or they won't pop up. But on your phone, go to settings, and then if you have your AirPod 2s out, you will see them pop up. You see mine says Glenn's AirPods Pro 2. And then I tap on that, and this screen comes up, and you can see there under noise control, you can totally turn it off where there is no noise control at all. Transparency, where you're hearing stuff, it just sets it a little. Adaptive is more, and then noise cancellation is, all the way on the other side. So you can choose which one you want there. The other way you can do this is bring up your control panel, and if you long press on the volume slider for your AirPods Pro, You'll notice when that new screen pops up, you will have a choice there of what you want to change it on the bottom. So you can do this through Control Center or in your settings. And once you hit noise control, there are your 4 options again. So either way, but that's just a new audio option there. All right, now let's actually get into iOS 17. I thought I would share, just some of that hardware stuff with you that I thought was fairly relevant. All right, so what I'm going to do, since it's iOS 17, we're going to look at 17 interesting features in iOS 17. Or at least I thought they were interesting features, so I'm not covering everything, but enough things. All right, the first thing is the contact poster. I don't know if you guys, has anybody tried this out yet, by the way?
No.
Nope, no one's tried this. I love it, and I love it when I get people's contact poster because I'm like, oh, well, that's fun. So you can make it your contact poster. It's basically a feature that lets you customize how your contact card looks to other people, like when you call them or text them or whatever. And if you call someone and they have your contact info in their address book, your contact poster will appear on the screen. It's not going out to strangers. So if you want to have fun with it and be goofy, it's only going to people who have you in their address book. It's not like, oh, I don't want my business contacts to see it like this. And so if you bring 2 iPhones together now in proximity, they're going to automatically pop up contact sharing, the interface, and it's going to show the person's information from their contact poster if they have it set up. And you can choose the phone number and email address you want to share with somebody on the other end if they're in your contacts app. And by the way, you can customize this. You can actually customize what you want to share and not share. So let's say you have a bunch of notes about a contact or something or other things. You can actually go in, and maybe I'll talk about that at a later time. You can set up so, I'm only giving them their phone number and their email, and I don't share my other information. That is actually editable. By the way, to use name drop, it's got to be between 2 phones running iOS 17 or between a phone with iOS 17 and Apple Watch running OS 10, Watch OS 10. So here's how you set up a contact poster. That is my picture I'm using, by the way, on my contact poster. That's what it actually looks like. Well, let's see. So when I open the Contacts app, so you have Apple Contacts that I think a lot of people, I don't know about you guys, I pretty much ignore the app and it's stuck in a folder somewhere. But you use that, you go in, you tap on your own name, you'll see your name is at the top there, tap on it. And now once you get your profile, you have this option for contact photo and poster. So you want to click on that. And then you're going to go into this thing where it says edit. So you're going to click that and you're going to edit that. And you can see, by the way, in my other picture, I'm using me with the funny face there. And now I'm going to customize. This is how I make a poster. So I'm going to hit customize. Excuse me. And I'm going to click poster. And so then I'm going to use the buttons at the bottom of the screen to either take a photo or choose a photo from my library. You can also do this with a Memoji, or if you prefer, you can just use a simple monogram of your initials. And you can do any of these on there. Now, once you choose your picture, and besides doing that, you can customize quite a bit on here. The font size, the style of the lettering, the color. The only thing you can't do is you can't change your name here. That has to be done by changing it in your contact information. So basically you can also, you swipe across the poster to preview a selection of filters. Like it's hard to see down at the bottom. Look in my orange box. Can you guys see where it says black and white there?
Yeah.
I was swiping across, so they give you like different color modes that you can put it in. So that's just the same thing, but I just showing you, I can go in black and white there if I choose. So it's the color filter. Also, when you're there, you can pinch, to crop your photo, pinch and zoom how you want. And when you're happy with the look, then you're going to tap that blue button at the top that says done. And you're basically going to see a preview of what the person sees when you call them. And then if you still like that, you'll hit continue. Now, that means your contact poster and your contact photo are complete. By the way, you can automatically have this shared with your contacts, and that's what they'll see. Like right now, all my contacts, that's what'll pop up. Or you can be prompted to share with anyone who calls you, so they can't see it without your permission. So if you want to do something fun, you can. All right. Next thing is, how do you actually share the contact details with name drop? And I am going to show you how to do this. Couple things before I do this. Basically, like I said, you got to have two phones in proximity, but they got to be, again, running both iOS 17 or a watch with watchOS 10 and a phone with iOS 17. And this is what it will look like.
You can quickly share your contact info with others using name drop. Here's how. Hold your iPhone near.
Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Someone else's iPhone. Tap your contact info. Then choose if you'd like to share your phone number or email. Now, tap share. When you're finished, tap done. Swap info fast with name drop. Both you and your recipient must be signed into iCloud. To learn more about how to use your iPhone, subscribe to our Apple support.
Okay. But it's really that simple to do this. And like they said, though, both people have to be signed into iCloud for it to work. And you both got to be using iOS 17 as well.
You got to be all Apple.
Not just Apple, but specific system Apple,
Yep.
iOS 17. Or like I said, with your watch, you can, if you have watch OS 10, you can do it as well there.
Yeah.
You can.
All right. Third feature, standby. Anybody tried this one out yet? No? I should ask, by the way, how many of you are using iOS 17? Okay. Some of us are, some aren't. Okay. So standby mode, I've been playing with this and I've been like a little frustrated by it, but I'm going to still be working on it. So standby, it's a new lock screen mode that will activate when you've got your phone landscaped and it's charging and you let it just sit there for a minute. After, it usually takes 30 seconds to a minute before it activates from the normal phone mode. And now it's kind of like a smart display just for glanceable information. And, it's like you can have it charging on a desk. Like I've been keeping it on my nightstand because right now we don't have a clock in our bedroom. So I've been doing it on my nightstand charging. The only thing I don't like about that is I don't really want to charge my phone every night because that just puts more wear and tear on the battery. But that way I have a phone. And the nice thing is, at night, it will actually dim it. It's not bright, and it'll take a lot of these into that red. Have you guys seen examples of the night mode, the red lettering on the watch and the phone? I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but it'll take that into it. So it's not like brightening up your whole room or anything. So it's on all iPhone models that will support iOS 17. But obviously, it only really works great if you have the always on feature of the 14s and 15 models. So here's how this works. As I said, it's got to be landscape. So you got to have it horizontal orientation and it's got to be charging and it's got to be propped up. Otherwise, then if I lay it flat, well, that's not going to do any good because you can't see it. So it's got to be propped up somehow. By the way, this isn't just something you use on your nightstand, but let's say you want it in, the kitchen, or you've got a timer running or something, it could be handy to do that. All right, so to enable standby mode, you got to go to settings, scroll down till you see standby. And then once you go in there, you got to make sure that standby is toggled on. The default is for it to be on, but you can make sure just to check that to make sure it's on. And then I also recommend the night mode display there, clicking that on as well. That's what will give you the red numbers or letters at night that aren't too bright. And here's a little video of it for you.
Here's how you can use standby mode with iOS 17. Everybody to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here, and one of the surprisingly big features for iOS 17 is called standby mode. This is basically turning your iPhone into a smart display wherever you have it placed, whether it's in your kitchen, your office, or your bedroom. There's a lot of features and a lot of details to dig into, so I'm going to walk you through everything that you need to know about standby mode. Using standby mode is incredibly easy. There's nothing you need to do to activate it other than connecting your phone to power and setting it down. As long as you have your phone connected to power, whether through a lightning cable or a MagSafe charger, and you set it down horizontally, your iPhone will transform into a smart, customizable display. Personally, I prefer using a MagSafe charger. They're really easy to use because you can just snap your phone on and off without having to plug a cable in. There's a bunch of them out there that act as stands where you can really control the angle of your phone. And another benefit of the MagSafe version is your iPhone will remember each MagSafe charger. And as you switch to different locations, it'll know where they are and can display different versions of standby mode. So maybe you have a standby mode that you prefer in your bedroom versus the one that you use in the kitchen versus the one you use at your office. Your office one, maybe you want to show your calendars, everything like that. In the kitchen, in your bedroom, you want to show your battery life. In the kitchen, you want to show your photos. All of that you can customize, and every time you move between a MagSafe charger, it'll bring up the correct version of standby mode. When in standby mode, you can swipe up and down to change between the different widgets. The default version of standby mode will show a clock on the left-hand side and something like the calendar on the right-hand side. But when you swipe up and down, you're able to choose between the different widgets they've pre-populated for you. If you tap and hold on either of the two widgets presented, it'll allow you to edit that stack of widgets. You can add a new widget by tapping the plus button in the upper left-hand corner, or you can remove any widget by tapping on the minus button. When you do go through, you can change things like having them automatically rotate based on what it thinks that you're going to need, and you can turn on suggested widgets so it'll present widgets for you based on when it thinks you may need them. Right now, only Apple's widgets are supported, though Apple is allowing third-party developers to bring their widgets into this new standby mode. You just have to enable that before iOS 17 is released. So right now, we just have a ton from Apple that you can choose from. There's the App Store, batteries, books, calendar, clock, maps, music, news, notes, photos, and podcasts. Some aren't optimized yet, though, things like fitness, game center, and sleep. When they're not optimized, you can still add them, but they're not going to work quite right, and they're not going to have the cool red effect that I'm going to talk about in a moment. You aren't stuck with the split view mode, though. Apple does present this split view mode as the default option, but by swiping left and right, you can change to other versions of standby mode. So there's the two columns that will show two widgets at once. There's one that shows photos from your galleries and the photos and memories that you've taken. And there's finally one that will show just a larger version of one single clock over the entire screen. The photos one is really cool. There's a bunch of different photos that you can pull in there. So when you tap on the plus button, it'll allow you to add additional albums. So you can swipe up and down from them to choose the different albums once you've selected them. And tapping on the screen will allow you to change the photos that are showing. So just a quick tap and you can change from one photo to another. You can also automatically rotate those photos for you. On the last one, they show the full clock. This is also really nice. There's multiple options of this one. Swiping up and down will let you rotate through those as well. A final trick with these standby mode faces is something we've seen in other products before, and that's that they can turn red when it's time for bed. So if you have this by your bedside with a MagSafe charger, you turn the lights off in the room. When your phone detects that the lights have turned off, it'll automatically change the entire display to red, reducing any blue light and helping you sleep better. We've seen this in other products. Apple has like the nighttime mode on your Apple Watch Ultra. There's also new cameras like the new Nikon Z8 that I'm actually shooting on right now that has an entire red mode for when you're shooting nighttime like star photography. So it's a really cool effect that's being used by other products, and Apple is now bringing it to this essentially nightstand mode. It's different than like the green face that you see on your Apple Watch. This is even better if you use your Apple Watch to sleep and you can't use it for nightstand mode. But there are two more really cool features of nightstand mode. The other two things that standby mode can do is live activities and Siri results. Let's talk about those in a little bit more detail. Whenever you have a live activity going on, it'll now show over the entire full display when in standby mode. So you have your phone there in the kitchen, propped up, you have timers going, you can see them taking over the full screen. It's really lovely. If you have food coming, again, same thing. You're just sitting there, you're waiting, you can see your Uber Eats order being delivered in real time. You can see live sports scores of the ongoing Cleveland Guardians game or whatever game that you're watching. All that can be shown in standby mode, and it's really neat. You can also do the same thing with Siri. So whenever you invoke Siri, you ask it a question, maybe you want to know the weather in Cupertino, maybe you want to know another fact, you can ask Siri these things, and those will be presented on screen. So you see these really nice full screen Siri results versus the tiny little bubbles or modals that would pop up before. Just a really nice effect and another great use of standby mode, especially when you're at your desk or in the kitchen or these other common spaces where you're going to be looking at this and using it as a smart display versus just your standard iPhone screen. So that's it. That is standby mode coming to your iPhone as part of iOS 17. Apple is expected to release iOS 17 later this fall.
Okay, so obviously he did this before the general release, but it's nothing has changed since when he did this video. So it's a cool feature. Like I said, I've been using that as my clock in my bedroom, and it just when it goes to that red light, by the way, if you haven't seen that in person before, it's pretty dark. It really does not light your room up, and then that display just dims down, and so it's not a distraction really at all. All right, next we have live voicemail. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but what it allows you to do is read transcripts of voicemail as they're being left in real time. And, you know, it's kind of cool because, you know, maybe you don't know a number or something, you're letting it go to voicemail, and now you can actually read along as it's, you know, coming in. And then if you want, oh, I want to jump in and talk to that person, you can do it. As I put here, think of like your old, you know, answering machines that we had back in the day, except for being audio, it's being typed there for you and you can read the words. And here's a little demonstration of how this works.
With live voicemail in iOS 17, when someone calls you and you don't pick up, as they are leaving a voicemail, a text transcription of what they're saying can be displayed. So let's see what this looks like when a call comes in to this iPhone. When the call is made, I can pick it up or send it to voicemail. I'll send to voicemail, and then up here in Dynamic Island, I can tap to view a call screen. As Warren begins leaving a voicemail, his words are automatically transcribed on my display. I can pick up the call with a tap and begin speaking to him as he's leaving the message, sort of like with an old landline answering machine. If I can't talk right now, I can let him complete the message and listen to the voicemail later on. Live voicemail will be activated by default when you install iOS 17. It can be deactivated in the phone section of the Settings app. Just turn off live voicemail, and incoming calls and voicemails will work the same as they always have.
Okay, so that is live voicemail. I've only used it once so far, so I don't know how handy it'll be, but it's just kind of a nice feature.
Glenn, do we know if the person who's leaving the message has to be using iOS 17 for this to work?
I don't believe they have to, but I don't want to swear to anything at this point. So I would say test it out, but I believe they can be using any, because it's not their system, it's your system that's doing the transcribing.
They could be using a landline.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter where they're calling from,
Okay, good to know.
as far as I know, but you know, I haven't played with it enough to really have tested that, so you might test that out. All right. Our fifth feature here is video messages. So not only can you leave a voice message, but you can now leave a video message. So if people want to see your ugly mug leaving them a message, then you can. And so you do this using FaceTime. So like, let's say you try to FaceTime somebody and they don't answer. You can now leave them a video or an audio message. And by the way, the type of message you can leave depends on what method you use to call in FaceTime. Because FaceTime, you can do just an audio call or you can do a video call. It's up to you. So however you do that, that's how you can leave the message. Make sure you have this feature enabled on your phone. And you can do this by going into your settings to phone to live voicemail, and just toggle all of this stuff on again. And also there's a feature and it's called record video option. So you just want to make sure you go in and you've got this stuff on to use it. And here is how this works. If I can get there. There we go.
Welcome to the Simple Dad iPhone tutorial. In this video, I'll show you how to send FaceTime recorded video on your iPhone running iOS 17. So in iOS 17, this is a new feature where you can now record videos on FaceTime if the other party does not pick up your phone. So let me show you how to do this. So as usual, you want to go ahead and open up your FaceTime app. Here, you want to go ahead and call someone. And this will be a FaceTime call. Now I'll wait until no one picks it up. And once it detects the other person is not available, it'll then give you this message here. You have the option to call again, record a video, or just close it. With iOS 17, you can now record a video. So go ahead and tap on record video. And now it'll give you a countdown. And from here, you can go ahead and leave your video message. Hi, tried to call you. Give me a call back. Press stop. Now you can go ahead and press play. Review your video message. You can tap on retake to record it again. Or you can go ahead and tap on this arrow here to send it off. At the top right, you can save the video. So I'll go ahead and tap on send. This will now send it to this party here. Now let me show you how it looks like when the other person receives the video message. So here in the call log, you'll see the person who called. And just below that, you'll see a video. So there is a 9-second video just below that person, which I have called. So to view it, go ahead and tap on video. And then press play. This will now play the video which I've recorded. Now this person can press save to save it to his phone library. He can tap on message to message me back, or tap on FaceTime to FaceTime me. And there you go. That is how to send FaceTime recorded video on your iPhone running iOS 17. Now, if you're new on the channel and you want to find out more about your iPhone, your Android phone, or any other social media apps.
Okay. So kind of a nice little feature if you decide you would like to leave somebody a video message. Not necessarily necessary, but it's kind of a nice little feature to have if you want to do it. Okay, there are some new features in Apple Maps, and they've done a couple nice things with Apple Maps. So the first one is the ability to download maps for offline use. And, you know, I guess that's nice. Say you're going to be driving somewhere where you might be in a rural area. You're worried about the network not being available to access maps, or maybe you're traveling abroad and you're not going to have access to a network. And so you can download those. So here's a little quick tutorial on how that works.
Here's how to download offline maps on Apple Maps. Now, if you use Apple Maps and maybe you're traveling or you just want a backup to download a copy of that entire map region onto your phone, I'll show you how to do it. So let's open up Apple Maps here, and there are a couple different ways that you can do this. One way that I like specifically is you can just zoom in or search for a specific location. So say I'm traveling to Miami and I wanted to download the offline maps just in case, so I have it. So let's just zoom in, and I'm going to tap and hold to drop a pin. And now you can see right next to the directions is the download button. I can tap on that and it will automatically bring me to the download page. Of course, at the bottom it says you have basically 209 megabytes in this download. I can zoom out and it's 450 megabytes. So depending on exactly how big you need that offline map to download it, it'll show you how much space it takes up. But say I'm just going to be within Miami area right here. I can go to that, and all I have to do is hit download at the bottom right. Now that's one way to do it. Let's show you the other way. The other way is just to tap on your profile icon at the bottom right here. And then there you can see offline maps. I can tap on that and then hit download new map. And now all I have to do is search for a specific location. Let's search for New York here. And then it'll again pop up immediately with the ability to download the New York map on here. So you can do this internationally. This is a great option, say, if you're traveling internationally to France and you need to download the roads in France, but you don't necessarily want to use your cell data or Wi-Fi all the time in France, you can download the map, then just use your phone to navigate to, and you won't be using it.
Have you put Netanyahu on your list to visit yet behind the president of Costa Rica? The left in our country and the left
in
Israel has tried to undermine
can you mute?
the Netanyahu government, a duly elected government. Why?
I think he can't hear.
Because he has a problem with the radical left Marx.
Can you mute him? I don't think he had his TV in the background there. All right. So that is how you download a map. Did that make sense to you guys, by the way?
That's useful. Thank you.
Well, and I'm using these little videos because I find it a lot easier. People have already done it rather than me, trying to show you my phone and record my phone, me doing it. I find it more useful in some of this stuff.
Sure.
By the way, to
Like
access your saved maps when they're offline, go into your maps, click on your profile picture there. It's kind of the lower right, you see in the square there. And then you can see right there, if you've downloaded, you've got maps saved, you click on the map you want. You can also resize, rename, or delete the map as needed. And then that's right there for you. Also, while you're on a network, here's a little key thing. While you're still on a network, tap on update all. If you know you're going to be traveling or something, hit update all, and that way it will update any new information before you go offline. So that's kind of handy, so you have the latest updates on maps. Also, you can toggle the little thing, optimize storage. This will kind of try to make sure these aren't getting too big and you're not using up all of your space on your iPhone with these maps, because after a while, if you're downloading a bunch of maps on there, they can take up some space. So be aware of that. Also, another cool feature of Apple Maps is they allow you to search for charging stations if you've got an electric car and you need to find them. Could be handy if you're on the road someplace out of town and you need to know where you got to charge your car. So you can literally in Maps just do a search, electric charging, and it'll pop up this thing here, electric charging stations. And you can click, that. And like, I just have a map open of St. Louis, and now it's showing me electric vehicle charging stations. Does
But
that
you
mean
don't have to have ISO 17 for that, do you?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, this is part of
I mean, I can see electric charging stations on Apple Maps now. Without on
allowing
60.
you to do that. Okay. As far as
can
I
see
knew, it was
'em.
a
I
new.
haven't searched for them, but I can see them.
Okay. Well, as far as I was told by Apple, it was a new feature. So I don't know. I can't answer that. So anyway, that's there if you need to do that. And by the way, you can note, it'll, when these come up, it'll tell you how far you are from these. And so if you click on one of them, it will, show you directions how to get there. All right, I'll do one more here for us, and then I'm going to leave off here, and I will, as I said, do the rest of them next month. So do any of you use the List app or the Reminders app, excuse me, in your iPhone? I see Steve raising his hand. I don't think a lot of
sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people use it really. And so it's a nice little feature, but now they've got it set up that you can actually convert it right into a groceries list, and it's kind of cool. So they've got this function, and when you create a list, it'll start sorting it by food category for you, and it's really cool. And so they have category types that are already pre-made. They include produce, breads and cereals, frozen foods, snacks and candy, meat, dairy, eggs and cheese, bakery, baking items, household items, personal care and health, and wine, beer, and spirits. So to create a grocery list, you simply go to the Reminders app and you tap on the Add List. Then you're going to select groceries right under the list type there. Go to groceries so it knows it's creating a groceries app list for you. And then you start adding your items to your grocery list. And as you add items, they're going to automatically be put into specific categories. So you can see, and I just started putting things in there. I had eggs and cheese, automatically put those in dairy, eggs, and cheese. I said wine, it put it into wine, beer, and spirits. So you can see, how it's categorizing them for you there. By the way, if the iPhone doesn't know what the item is, it'll just have it below those categories, and they'll just be uncategorized. By the way, it will recognize specific brands. Notice down there under oils and dressings, what I typed in. I didn't put mayonnaise. I actually typed in Miracle Whip. And boom, it knew what it was, and it put it under oils and dressings. It knew how to categorize it. I can't tell you it's going to know every brand name out there. So that may be hit or miss. And when you finish, just tap done, and your list, your list, it should be organized, and the idea is that it's going to make your trip to the store not just having a list of things, but it's going to make it easier because it's sorting them. So, I know all this stuff is in this area of the store or that area of the store. I haven't tried using it yet, but it's a cool little feature, I think. Whoop, sorry. By the way, you can further organize your categories and lists by, there's a little circle at the top. I know it's hard to see where my square is there, but there's a circle with 3 dots in the upper right. And if you click that, you get a drop down menu. And then if you manage sections, if you click on that, that takes you to this edit sections screen. And you can see you could, you can hide if you haven't used a category, automatically hide that until you use it. And you can add other stuff in there. And so, it's a cool fun feature. Like I said, I haven't used it yet, but I'm looking forward to going to a grocery store and just trying this out and putting my stuff on there. And you can see I just started typing food stuff in there, and it organized it for me. And so it's good to go. So it's kind of a cool feature there. All right. So I know, Ron.
Will it convert a list that I already have into this kind of thing?
No, because I don't believe so, because if I go back here, I'll show you real quick. I'm gonna find where on the second step on list type there, I chose groceries.
So there's nothing that'll actually convert a list I already have into that.
I haven't tried this, but if you've got a list, Ron, try and see if you can go back on your list and it'll let you edit what the list type is of your list. Maybe it'll do that and then it'll allow it to convert. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we keep our grocery list in notes, and I wonder if you could just select everything and copy and paste
Which way, Steve?
from notes into reminders.
Reminders.
You know, I don't know, but again, I think part of the problem is that you have to, on that list type, if you don't put groceries, and by the way, then you title it, but if you don't choose groceries, then it doesn't know it's a grocery list, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, you'd have to tell it where to paste it.
You create
Yeah,
your
so-
list and then paste your data in, maybe?
Yeah, Steve, I would say this, give it a try and see if it works and let us know. You know, play with that and see, maybe it'll let you do it. What I don't know is if it can take like a whole list of stuff and then kind of boom, 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 and figure out what to do with each one versus I've typed in one item and it knew what to do with that. I don't know if that would kind of overload its brain.
You may have to cut and paste each item separately.
Could be, yeah, but play with it, see what it does for you. It's kind of a cool feature. So, all right,
Yeah.
so we're getting a little short on time. So, like I said to you guys, I knew I'd only get through part of this tonight, and I've got 10 more of these that I'll continue next month in November.
Okay.
Well, let me get
Glenn,
my
when you send me this PDF
PDF.
or whatever it is, are you gonna just do 1 through 7 or gonna the whole thing?
I figure I'll just send you the first part,
Okay.
and then I'll send you. I can just put in 2 parts, I guess, and I'll send you the other part next
Yeah,
month.
that sounds fine.
So,
Okay, cool.
Bye-bye.
Well, thanks everybody for coming next month again. Like Glenn, we'll finish up on iOS 17. There's a lot of stuff out there, and sorry that my Mac OS didn't do the best, but some things I couldn't get to work. So.
It's Zoom.
Zoom has a way of doing
On
that to
Zoom,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Been there, done that, Ron. So I feel your pain. I know how that goes.
I do have a couple of good websites, though, videos that I will put onto our website. And if you watch them, they'll give you all sorts of stuff about Mac OS.
One very quick thing, there's lots of good potential trivia questions here.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Have you actually started that list already, John?
Of course not.
Oh, okay. I just
Right.
wondered. Okay, everybody, thanks for coming.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, about a month ago, you said I didn't think we were saying we should go to iOS 17, but now we're saying everybody should get there, right?
Oh, yeah, if your phone will take it, I'd highly recommend to go ahead and do it.
I always update these things on the day that they come out. Frankly, I haven't been worried in years about doing that. So,
But I put on automatic updates and it doesn't do it.
I
No,
don't
you
think
have to. It only updates on the current system you have.
Yeah.
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 Oh, only in the one level,
Like in 16, if you
Up
have
to the next
16 on
level.
there, it will update that. But
all the way up to
17 is a whole new system, so you have to purposely tell it to go to 17.
So, yeah.
Night.
Okay, everybody.
Good, everybody.
Thanks. Have a good month. See you next month.
y'all later.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Glenn.